This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Well, we've had him on we've had him on the entire high school football season, which comes to an end with a couple of championships that are still up for grabs later on. Well, it's starting tomorrow, as far as I understand. Nate Olson from Scorebook Live joining us on halftime. Nate, do you break out the tissues, the handkerchiefs when it comes to the end of the high school football season? Because it's a long year. There's a lot to write about. You're as thorough as it gets, and this is it, man.
Kind of, but I think when you get to a certain age, you're a little bit relieved too. There's a lot of Friday nights going to bed at 3 and waking up at 8 is a little tough for me, being an old man. But yeah, I mean it's a great time of year, and it's we cover everything, and we've seen that basketball and some of the women's sports like softball really popular. So we stay busy, but football is what probably we have the most content of, and so it's busy. So you spend a lot of time getting ready for it, and then it seems like it's over in the blink of an eye. I think this is our 15th week of talking together, and it doesn't seem like that. And it seemed like the other day we just started. But
football is king. What? Let me know what happened the first. How many state playoffs championship games are done, and how many do we have left? Any surprises? Any surprise state champions so far?
I don't think so, Matt. I think pretty much everything. I think, as far as I'm concerned, stood the path. So the format's different, and actually, for the first time since a long time ago, we don't have any games tomorrow. It's always been, you've got a game on Friday and Saturday, and 2 on Saturday the first 2 weeks of the year. Well, this year with 2A having 2 less conferences, they played last Friday afternoon. So I think one surprise would be that the 2A game that Hazen just rolled over Carlisle. And, those we're going to talk about Boonville and Charleston, how they're rivals and located really close together. Carlisle and Hazen are like 10 miles apart or something over there off I-40. And that game was 38-30, Hazen the first time, and then, they blew them out last Friday, and Carlisle just couldn't get anything going. So I think that was probably the biggest surprise of the weekend, that lopsided score. PA beat Greenwood, but I wasn't really surprised by that because I told you on the air that whoever won that first game,
you did.
Whoever lost the first game would win the second time if they played again. And I think it's just hard to beat. Those teams could play 10 times and split 5-5. They're that close together. So, I think that probably that Charleston, the Carlisle game was
I do remember you talking about the Charleston quarterback, and if you're going to preview that game, is the Charleston, do you have them favored? Is he still the best quarterback left?
Yeah, he's really good. And also a 4.0 student. You can go to our site and read the preview. It'll be up this afternoon. A lot of good information in there from Kyle Sutherland. But yeah, Brandon Scott over 2,000 yards passing and over 2,500 yards passing, 29 touchdowns and just 4 interceptions. And he's also rushed for 742 yards and 12 touchdowns and 136 carries. So he's probably the reason why I picked them to win again. The first meeting that they had, Charleston won 42-14, but several players from Boonville were suspended for an incident that happened the day before. So that was a real crushing blow to Boonville and the fans, because everyone was looking forward to this game. And I think Charleston, they were really ready for that one and played well. So I don't know that they wouldn't have still won if Boonville was at full strength, but I don't think it would have been a blowout. I'm anticipating another tough game or anticipating a close game, but I think Scott gives them kind of the advantage, and they're diverse. They run it and pass it. Boom Bowl is just going to run it most of the time, but they've got 3 guys that are over 1,000 yards rushing, and they'll just switch it up and flip it around and use that misdirection. And Cody Elliott's the fullback. It's only 5'6", 155 pounds, but he ran for 189 yards last week against Melbourne. So it's a real contrast in styles. But I think with Scott in the mix, you love his leadership. We talked about him all year. And just the fact that Charleston can do more things. And if Boombo gets behind, it's hard for them to get back in it.
Hey, Nate, well, look at the games from last week. Central Arkansas, won the championships when it came to playing against teams out of the River Valley or Northwest Arkansas. Bryant won their 5th in a row. PA wins another one. Parkview beats Shiloh. So, a lot of times it does come to, and I know not all of it is Northwest Arkansas, but it's Northwest Arkansas, River Valley against Central Arkansas. Because Central had the edge this year.
I think so. There's a lot of talent here, and Parkview has kind of become, I think, a feeder for Division I athletes in the Little Rock School District. It's kind of, Brad Golding has put his stamp on the program, and it's the it place to go in the Little Rock School District, and it's the first Little Rock School District program that's won a state title since '04, and so you got to feel like they can keep winning for a while. And then you've got Bryant. That machine is it's not slowing down, and the talent just keeps coming. And so, there's. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's really good football in Northwest Arkansas, and like I said, Greenwood. They beat PA before. It's kind of one of those things that if they met again this week, Greenwood might win. And I think in the future, Greenwood with Kane Archer as a starting quarterback for 3 years with the receiving core they have, they're going to have a really special program. I mean, it's already a really great program. But I think
they should win at least one more championship. Is what you're saying? The next couple of years,
they're going to win more. I wouldn't be surprised if they won a couple more, and PA is going to have something to say about it, of course. But I think with Archer. I mean, he's the kind of quarterback that we haven't seen very often here, and he showed this year. He got in 2 games when they were behind. He came back and they won them. And then against Little Rock Christian, they were way behind. He got them back in the game. So I don't have much of a doubt if he played this year, he would have done really well. He didn't have to play. Hunter Houston had a really good senior year, but now the Kane Archer era begins, and with all those good receivers, and they've got linemen. They've started a lineman that was a freshman this year. He's a Division I prospect. So I feel like in the next couple of years, especially maybe right in his junior year, that they'll start to get, offered to play in some of the big games because of him, like some of these classic type games, maybe play against the Tulsa area in a classic type game like a Bixby or somebody because of him, but not only just because of him, because some of those other players too. There'll be several Division I players on that roster. So they're going to represent River Valley and Northwest Arkansas really well. But, PA, they just keep on churning out. I mean, it's amazing. 9 straight title games, I think it is, 4 straight championships. And they're just they're really unbelievable that they can move up to 6A and win it. When I saw people picking them to win, I thought, wow, it's pretty bold, but I mean they have the talent, and Anthony Lucas is a really good coach, and it could be them in Greenwood and a few other teams battling out, but that'll be interesting to see just how high Kane Archer can kind of take the status of that program.
Nate, can you put into context Bryant's dominance of the 7A across the state? 5 state championships in a row.
Wow.
Has this happened before? Or is this a standalone achievement?
Not in the playoff era it hasn't, and not in the big school. And, I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, they'll be favored to win next year. I mean, I think they'll be preseason number 1, and I would predict they'll win. I mean, they have too many pieces coming back. And I'm going to tell you, the thing that is really the key for them is, and I just found this out the other day, but, Buck James gets a lot of the acclaim, that's rightfully so, but he's got a lot of good assistants. But he also has, at the lower levels, and I'm seeing this, I've got kids this age, but the ninth grade coach hasn't lost a game in 4 years. So that means those ninth graders, they come to be, play as sophomores. They're ready to play. And, this year, Jordan Walker started as a sophomore quarterback for the entire year. They took him out during the title game, and Gideon Moats, the Arkansas baseball signing, came in. But Walker was a big reason why they were able to, remain undefeated. And so I think that's kind of the program in a nutshell, is that other teams, when they lose 8 or 9 or 10 starters, it takes them a while to replenish it. With Bryant, they'll plug in sophomores to play there. And with this great ninth grade coach and the program that they have, he has them ready to play varsity football earlier than probably some other programs. And they've got a lot of other kids, too, that, are on the special teams or seniors that don't have a position. So it's like they're loaded everywhere. I mean, just to have numbers and talent, and I don't see it slowing down. As long as Buck James is the coach, they're going to have a chance to win championships, and they can really shatter some records. I mean, over the next couple of years, and they're going to be favored for sure next year. And looking beyond that, you don't know. But the way things are going, the talent pool is very deep there, and they're going to have a chance for a long time as long as he's there.
Is that the only 2 games this Saturday? Who else is playing this Saturday?
Harding Academy in Malvern, and Harding Academy is a 3-time 3A state champion. They move up and they beat Arkadelphia on a 31-yard field goal by Kyle Ferry at the Horn. He's going to Mississippi State, one of the better kickers that I've ever covered. He had a 57-yarder in the game.
Kicker.
He had 61-yard field goal last year, in warm-ups, and so that should be a good game too. Malvern is very potent on offense. Cedric Simmons, the quarterback's a 4-year starter, and Jalen Dupree has run for more than 2,000 yards this year.
We talk about losing recruits, and we'll have Danny West on some. And man, I can't believe we lost the kicker. Did Arkansas, were we just late to the table to get him up, or has he committed? Is there a relationship he has at Mississippi State, a reason why he left?
Well, his stepfather is a Mississippi State alumni or fan, and he kind of grew up in Starkville, and he said he never really liked Arkansas. He was going to go on a visit there, and he wrenched his back in a workout, so he went up there but didn't kick for him, and he said he kind of already made up his mind to go there. But they did recruit him, but I think he kind of, with being a Mississippi State fan, he kind of got latched onto them early, and he went to 2 camps there, 2 tryouts this summer, and they offered him, I think, in July.
All right, Nate, now that football is over, well, in a couple of games, what's next at Scorebook Live? I mean, you guys cover everything. It isn't just football, it's everything.
Yeah, we will get heavy into basketball. We've already done previews on all the classes, and we'll start covering games. We'll have some big tournaments coming up. The King Cotton Classic is right after Christmas, and that's from top teams from all over the country. And yeah, there's a Taco Bell tournament in Fort Smith this weekend. A lot of girls teams in action, both Fort Smith schools, and we'll have coverage of that starting tonight. So it'll be real heavy basketball, and like you said, it's always a little sad when football is over. It'll probably sink in next Friday night when I'm out of the game, but we've enjoyed it. It's a labor of love. It's a lot of work, but we enjoy bringing it to the fans.
Football is back, and BetOnline remains your number one source for all your football betting needs this season. You'll find the latest odds, matchup info, player news, and game trends. And as your continued source for all sports wagering info, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, live scores, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events like MLB, MMA, tennis, boxing, and even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 100% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. Bet online, where the game starts.